Noisy Pixel.
I'm sure we've all had a time or two in our lives when we just want to go bananas. The reality is though that we basically can't do this without facing any sort of major consequence. Well, the violent acrobatic slow-mo shooter from developer Dead Toast Entertainment and publisher Devolver Digital says to hell with that. I'm Brad Crespo and this is Noisy Pixel's review of My Friend Pedro. My Friend Pedro wastes no time to get you right into the action, as Pedro, your talking banana, wakes you up, and after that, it's guns blazing go time. The premise itself is all so simple, but satisfying. Buddy up with Pedro and kill or be killed. Rather than stuffing your face with needless details like the identity of the mysterious main character, the game lets all the gameplay and, well, Pedro do the talking. Now, that's not to say that there's nothing else to enjoy, as the writing, more specifically for Pedro and his witty banter, is truly charming. What may be disappointing for some players, however, is that the enemies in the game are pretty run-of-the-mill, and the bosses don't get much time to shine. Needless to say, My Friend Pedro isn't going to capture your undivided attention with its premise and characters, but its insanely addictive, fluid, and stylish gameplay will. My Friend Pedro's gameplay is far from being just simple, which is mainly a good thing. The best way to describe how to handle the game is you need to either go big or go home. Actually, there is no going home, so you better go big. Each level has you running, jumping, spinning, twisting, swinging, and flipping your way to the end, all the while killing off any foes that get in your way. That said, combat is ultimately the coolest part of it all. Sure, there's killing enemies the easy way by just standing in one spot and shooting them with a pistol, but there are way more creative and satisfying ways to get the deed done, like doing sweet flips and spins and using objects to ricochet bullets. Unleashing mass destruction doesn't have to be done at normal speed, however, since you can take things down a notch, a big notch at that. That's right, there's slow-mo in My Friend Pedro, which is handled with the game's focus mechanic. And what's so great about it, aside from it just being awesome, is that it pretty much never runs out, and it can be toggled on or off at any time. At the end of it all, the combat has so much substance to it, to the point that it never ever gets dull, and makes for several intense and entertaining firefights. It's important to note though that there's a bit of a learning curve with the combat itself, but it's a worthy challenge to overcome. Thankfully, the level designs have been given the same complexity treatment as they're far from linear. Each level you take on is chock full of obstacles for you to traverse across or even maneuver on. All these obstacles can be used to your advantage in more ways than one, especially when it comes to delivering stylish kills, making levels feel like fun, bloody playgrounds to play in. On the flip side, there are some quirks within the game that some players may find a little disruptive. These quirks specifically are the physics-based puzzles. While yes, they are quite clever, I found them to kill off the overall flow of My Friend Pedro. However, I can understand why the developer decided to throw in puzzle solving in order to mix things up with the game. All of your hard work isn't all for nothing, as each level ends with a scorecard and rank. Points are earned for chaining kills in a combo, not dying, going through levels in a flash, you know the drill. While this is nothing that hasn't been done before, what's particularly neat is the feature that lets you get an awesome clip of you being a badass, which can be viewed or even shared. Visually speaking, there's not much here that will wow you in terms of graphics alone, but the art style is what makes My Friend Pedro pop out the most, especially the main character design, as it's like a streetwear version of Deadpool. Also, all the visual and sound effects are wonderfully done, making the game a full-on spectacle to experience. My Friend Pedro is the Max Payne, Matrix, and Deadpool fusion I didn't know I needed. The game is so wonderfully strange, yet so gracefully magnificent. It's a ballet performance of blood, bullets, and bananas that you can't help but fall madly in love with. Go ahead and go bananas. Noisy Pixel is giving My Friend Pedro an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for flipping into our review. You can read our full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content.